What's up guys, my name is Liam and today we're going to be looking at the highly requested AJAZZ AJ139 Pro. This is a shape that is close to the Logitech GPro Superlight, the Vaxee XE Wireless, and it comes in at a fraction of the cost. So, is this going to be the perfect gaming mouse for you? Let's check it out. Before we get started, I did want to let you know that metkeys.com did send this out to me, but everything you'll be hearing in this video today will be my own words and my own opinions. Starting out with the unboxing, here's what it looks like on the top. Over here on the side, they do have a list of the specifications that do come on the mouse. I believe this does come in 3 colorways. As you can see here, obviously I have the white, also comes in black, and I believe that they're also going to have a magenta colorway as well. And right underneath the mouse, once you remove this foam insert, it does have a box here full of goodies. And inside, it looks like we do have a white USB-C cable, and this version actually does come with the dongle adapter. They also do provide you with a set, an extra set of the Teflon skates, and it looks like there also is a piece of paper in here that is the instruction manual. And I was looking at this and it does look like it does come actually in English. And starting over here at the bottom of the mouse, real simple stuff. There is a storage compartment here for the dongle where it does come included. And then you just simply have your power button over here, switch it up to power it on, switch it down to power it off. The Teflon skates that are included on this are kind of the same that came on the AJAZZ AJ199. Not necessarily my favorite. They are kind of a slower style of skate. But that is kind of what I've come to expect and what is typical on these cheaper mice. And by the way, the price on this comes in at $40.99. Coming back over the top, this is just a straight plastic injection mold surface. There is no additional coating added. And on the top, it is just a smoother feeling surface. I also did want to make note that if you are familiar with the AJAZZ AJ199, that mouse does have a removable top shell. This is just a single shell design, which personally I prefer more. I feel like it makes it more sturdy, more durable, and it does make it a little bit more lightweight. So the feeling of this is just absolutely incredible. And I keep telling you guys in these videos over and over again, the more that I'm receiving these cheaper style mice, every time they just impress me more and more. There is no bending, creaking, flexing. This thing feels really solid, and just all around I'm really impressed by the build quality on it. And the same thing when it comes to the switches. This is using Huano micro switches. I don't know exactly which ones they are, but they feel incredible. There is barely any, almost no pre-travel, and as you can see there on the click, the post-travel, it does not have bad post-travel at all. So overall, these buttons, they feel incredibly solid. The implementation of the switch from front to back feels great and solid all around. I'm not getting any type of rocking, teetering on the switch here. There's literally like, look at that, there's like no play left to right almost. Same thing with the mouse button number 2, almost no pre-travel, almost no post-travel. If you do come more up towards the front of the switch, you do get it to bend a little bit more, but that's probably just due to the plastic buttons being a little bit longer. But overall, these buttons, they feel incredibly premium, and I honestly have no complaints about them. They're even really lightweight, easily spammable, so incredible job here. The scroll also feels great as well, nice and solid. This is using a TTC Gold encoder, and the steps on it I feel like feel great. They don't feel too heavy, too light. They're kind of right there in the middle, and the actual button activation in the middle, pretty light as well. Back here they have the DPI button, and the DPI button feels pretty good. I don't feel like it sticks up too much. It kind of just has this little groove right here, so it never got in the way and I never found myself accidentally clicking it. The side buttons are okay. They honestly do feel a little bit on the spongier side. As you can see, there is a little bit of pre-travel once you activate the switch, however, a little bit of post-travel, and there is a little bit of play there side to side on the buttons when you push it in. But the good news is when you do push it back there, it does have a nice solid stop. So it doesn't push too far into the shell or anything like that. And honestly, on the front side button, it's the exact same thing. A little bit of pre-travel there. After you activate the switch, a little bit of post-travel, and then they do have a little bit side-to-side play on them. I know that I just have one copy, but I must say that I am super impressed with the overall quality and feeling of this mouse in the hands. Honestly, after just receiving my GPro Superlight 2, this thing honestly blows it out of water in terms of the overall build quality. Again, I'm not sure if that will be the same thing from copy to copy. I'm not sure if there will be any variants, but truly the side buttons, you know, they're just okay. I feel like the side buttons on my GPro Superlight 2 are even pretty spongy. With that being said, but if they can just tighten up these side buttons just a little bit more, then honestly, you're going to have near a perfect quality mouse here. based on the experience that I've had, and that's honestly saying a lot for a mouse that's coming in at $40.99. So let's go ahead and drop a click and build quality sound test. That way you can guys kind of hear firsthand the kind of experience that I've been having. When it comes to the weight and balance, comparing it to even something like the AJAZZ AJ199, let me make sure I do take out the dongle here with this solid removable shell. The one thing I do want to bring up to you guys is, again, this doesn't have the removable shell on it, and the overall weight on this thing comes in at 59.5 grams, 59.5, 59.4 grams. That is with the dongle and the cover removed on the bottom. And I do want to say that with the AJAZZ AJ199, coming in at 62.9 grams. Since the AJ139 is a bigger mouse, it all around just feels quite a bit lighter than the AJ199. And they even nailed it with the balance. The front to back balance, it does feel perfect. Even on the left to right balance, it feels incredible as well. And the fact that even though the AJ199 is just a couple grams heavier, I do feel like, since that is a smaller mouse and this is obviously a bigger mouse, I do feel like kind of like the weight is distributed a little bit more evenly, especially since the balance is so great on here. So it really does feel incredible in hands, and it does feel a bit lighter than 60 grams in my opinion. The software for the mouse is incredibly easy to use, similar to the older type of Lamzu style software. This does actually allow you to adjust the debounce time, so I was able to drop the debounce time down to 0 milliseconds. And then aside from that, all it really does is allow you to switch the DPI and some of the other options. I don't really care to switch that much. I do believe this does come with motion sync on it, but the software does not give you the option to disable the motion sync. And when it comes to the performance while using this in game, I know that I did previously review the AJAZZ AJ199. I came across a couple of weird issues. I didn't notice anything in particular with this mouse. I didn't notice any of the weird sleep functions going on or anything like that. The connectivity and everything, it really did feel great. I wouldn't say obviously that this is going to be on the same level as some of the other Nordic MCU mice with the 4K offerings. This does have the CompX solution in it, but aside from that, for the price, it really does feel great. And I did kind of want to mess around with removing the ring and the skates. I did kind of feel like there was a little bit of DPI deviation where it felt a little bit slower, but again, nothing too major, nothing you can't really adjust in the software. And aside from that, that's really about it. I can truly say that they are coming out with a 4K version of this mouse in the future. I do believe that I do have a 4K AJ199 on the way, and I can truly say that once I do get those mice, I'm really looking forward to them and checking them out, because the quality of this unit and the usability of it, the shape is great, everything. If they can just button it up and kind of increase the performance just a little bit more, then the other companies are going to have to watch out, because they're going to have a real problem on their hands with these mice. And when it comes to this shape truly is incredible. It's not exactly a GPro Superlight clone. It, as you can clearly see here, it's an ambi shape. It does have a little bit more curvature on the sides than the GPro Superlight in my opinion, and it doesn't have as high or as rounded of a filling on the GPro Superlight. We'll get into that here in a little bit, but I do kind of feel like this feels kind of like a mix between a GPro Superlight and a Vaxee XE Wireless. I personally have always preferred the shape of the Vaxee XE over the GPro Superlight myself personally, and I do kind of feel like this is kind of in the middle of those. So I'll go ahead and throw up a comparison of those here really quickly, but overall the shape of this, it just really feels fantastic. And starting out, if we were to compare it to the AJAZZ AJ199, this isn't exactly a blown up version of the AJAZZ AJ199. It is a bit of a different shape in its own. I do feel like the actual height of both of these mice, they're pretty similar to one another. The AJAZZ AJ199 even might feel like it's just slightly a bit taller on the mid hump, but if you look at these from the sides, could be due to the fact that it's shorter as well. It does have a much more aggressive fall off from the top middle hump down to the back here, to where this is kind of just a flatter feeling at the top, and it is kind of closer to the GPro Superlight, where it has this kind of slower taper off here. I'm not sure necessarily that it does have such an aggressive rear end right here is the GPro Superlight, but it does feel a little bit softer overall in the hands. And then coming over the back profile here at the top of the AJ199, it does taper off more aggressively to the sides, making it feel a little bit more pointy here at the top. And on the AJAZZ AJ139, it just feels like it has a little bit of a flatter profile up there. But if there's one thing that I can say for sure, the AJAZZ AJ199 has been incredibly popular. This shape has just been killing it, and I really feel like the AJ139 is no exception. If there's one thing that I can promise you guys, is that AJAZZ is absolutely killing it with their shapes. All right, so first off, let's throw it up against the Logitech GPro Superlight 2. Like I'd mentioned, the overall size of these are scaled. They're pretty equal to one another. I do feel like on the bottom profile, they're almost identical as far as width goes. I do feel like on the AJ139, the curve is just a little bit more aggressive. And I do feel like the GPro Superlight does feel just a hair bit wider. Coming over to the rear, as you can see here, as I was explaining on the top profile, I do feel like the GPro Superlight is sticks up a bit higher, and it's a little bit more rounded, where I do feel like the top profile hump on the AJAZZ AJ139, it does feel a little bit flatter there at the top. And then coming over the sides, you can see the top profile from the front to the curvature towards the back isn't that far apart. I do feel like the GPro Superlight does sit up a little bit higher, has a little bit more of a higher mid hump. Next up, when comparing it to the Vaxee XE Wireless, I do feel like the actual size and shape of these mice are incredibly close to one another. As you can see here on the XE Wireless, it does feel just a little bit wider in the hands, and it does have this more aggressive rear end. The top profile of these mice, they're pretty similar. They're not identical, but they kind of do have that flatter feeling profile at the top before they actually curve off to the sides. And then looking at both of these from the sides, like I said, the size on these is almost identical. I do feel like the curvature on the XE Wireless, I do feel like it's more aggressive. It does drop down and sit a little bit lower at the front of the mouse. And then as well, I also do feel like from the top middle hump, it does drop off more aggressively to the rear. And next up, when comparing it to the VGN Dragonfly F1, both of these mice are honestly pretty similar to one another. Starting out at the bottom here, the VGN Dragonfly does have more aggressive curves on the side. So here in the center, it does feel a bit more narrow compared to the AJ139. And then coming over here on the rear profile, I do feel like it feels a bit wider on the AJ139 at the top of the mouse, whereas it does feel a little bit more narrow here on the VGN Dragonfly. But as you can see, they kind of have that flat profile at the very top middle hump. And then looking at both of these from the sides, they're not too far apart from one another, where the Dragonfly does feel just slightly a bit flatter at the top. right, then finally, due to requests I have been receiving, I'm going to go ahead and throw it up to the Darmoshark M3s Varun. The overall size of these, I wouldn't say are that far apart from one another. I do feel like the Varun does have a little bit more aggressive curves on the side, and it feels just slightly a bit more narrow compared to the AJ139. And then coming over to the rear profile, where the Varun is more of a rear hump style and the AJ139 has more of a mid hump, it does kind of more aggressively curve off from the top, middle to the sides, to whereas on the AJ139 it feels a little bit flatter at the top. And then finally, looking at these from the side, the Varun does sit lower in the front since it does have the rear hump shape, and the AJ139 being a mid hump mouse, it just kind of has a smoother curve from front to back with that mid hump. Alright guys, so that wraps things up on the AJAZZ AJ139, coming in with a 300 milliamp hour battery, 40 hours of battery life. I must say that all around this mouse just feels great. I couldn't be any more excited to see what the future holds for AJAZZ, but coming in at the price this comes in at, I would absolutely recommend this mouse. If you're the type of person that is looking for a budget option, you don't really notice the difference between 1K and 4K performance, I just feel like it was really solid out of the box. I don't have a whole lot of information about the 4K offerings yet. The AJ199 that is on the way to me, I believe the price on that's going to come around like $55.99, and the AJ139 4K has been announced, but I don't know too many details on it. I don't know what kind of solution they're using, what type of MCU is going to be in it, but I'm really excited to get my hands on it. And obviously I will be bringing you guys a review on those the second I get a chance. All right guys, so if you have any questions, I feel like I left anything out, please let me know down in the comments below. Aside from that, if you've enjoyed watching this video and you're interested in seeing more videos like this in the future, please drop this video a like and subscribe to my channel. I've left affiliate links for these mice down in the description below if you're interested in picking any of them up and supporting the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.